You know what's crazy? While the Strip is bleeding middle-class tourists and watching casinos struggle with $18 billion in debt, downtown Fremont Street is packed every single night. This isn't just some feel-good comeback story. We're watching a real-time economic experiment where the forgotten side of Vegas is crushing the billion-dollar corridor that was supposed to be untouchable. And here's the kicker. Fremont didn't win by copying the Strip's luxury playbook. They won by doing the exact opposite. What I'm about to show you explains why Vegas's entire economic model might be backwards. The Great Vegas Flip, when David started beating Goliath. Look, if you told any Vegas executive in 2010 that Fremont Street would be stealing customers from Bellagio and Aria in 2025, they'd have laughed you out of the boardroom. But that's exactly what's happening, and the numbers are absolutely wild. Friday nights on Fremont now pull crowds that rival Strip properties. Except these aren't high rollers dropping $500 on bottle service. These are regular Americans spending $40 on drinks and actually staying all night. Here's where it gets interesting from an economic standpoint. Fremont's per-guest revenue might be lower, but their profit margins are destroying the Strip. Think about it like this. When Caesars needs to maintain a $2 billion property with massive debt service, they need every guest to spend hundreds just to break even. Fremont properties like El Cortez or Golden Gate? They're working with buildings that have been paid off for decades. Every $20 cocktail and $10 minimum blackjack table is almost pure profit. That's not a business model. That's a money-printing machine. The psychology here is textbook behavioral economics. When people feel like they're getting ripped off, they spend less and leave faster. When they feel like they're getting value, they stay longer and spend more freely. Fremont figured out that making people feel smart about their spending beats trying to trick them into overspending. The Strip forgot that lesson, and now they're watching their customers literally walk away. Straight to downtown. What really blows my mind is the walkability factor that nobody talks about. The entire Fremont experience covers 5 blocks. The Strip? You need a damn shuttle bus just to get between properties. That concentrated energy creates what economists call agglomeration effects. Basically, businesses benefit from being clustered together. Every bar, casino, and restaurant on Fremont feeds customers to each other. The Strip's spread-out layout does the opposite. It exhausts people before they can spend. The $18 billion debt bomb nobody's discussing. Here's something the Strip doesn't want you to know. Their entire business model is built on servicing massive debt loads that require extracting maximum revenue from every square foot. We're talking about properties carrying hundreds of millions in debt that need servicing every single month. MGM alone is sitting on roughly $11 billion in long-term debt. Caesars, another $7 billion. These companies have to charge $30 parking, $45 resort fees, and $25 cocktails because their debt service demands it. It's not greed. It's mathematical survival. Meanwhile, Fremont casinos are working with a completely different equation. Circa might be the newest major property, but even their construction costs were a fraction of what Strip properties spend on renovations. The D Las Vegas bought the old Fitzgeralds for $24 million. That's less than what Wynn spends on flower arrangements in a year. When your overhead is that low, you can afford to give customers actual value. This is where compound economics gets brutal. Every tourist who has a bad experience on the Strip because of price gouging is a potential customer lost forever. But Fremont? They're creating lifetime customers by just letting people have affordable fun. The lifetime value calculation here is staggering. A middle-class family that comes to Fremont twice a year for 10 years generates more profit than a one-time luxury visitor who never returns. The labor economics are fascinating too. Strip properties need armies of staff to maintain their luxury standards, from bathroom attendants to VIP hosts to reservation managers. Fremont operates lean and mean. Bartenders pour drinks, dealers deal cards, and security keeps things safe. No frills, no bloat, just business. That efficiency translates directly to prices customers pay. What's really happening is a massive wealth transfer from corporate casino shareholders to actual Las Vegas visitors. The Strip extracts value. Fremont creates it. And in an economy where middle-class discretionary spending is getting squeezed from every direction, guess which model wins? The local economy's secret weapon. You want to know the real difference between Fremont and the Strip? Walk into any Fremont casino on a Tuesday afternoon and count the Nevada license plates in the parking garage. Now, try that at Bellagio. I'll save you the trip. Locals don't go to the Strip anymore, unless they work there. This local abandonment is economic suicide that Strip executives don't seem to understand. Locals provide baseline revenue during slow periods. They bring visiting friends and family, and they create authentic energy that tourists want to experience. When you price out locals, you're not just losing their direct spending, you're losing their entire economic ecosystem. Fremont gets this. They've got local discounts, free parking for Nevada residents, and bartenders who actually know your name. That creates what economists call social capital, relationships that translate into real financial value. A local who feels respected at Four Queens will bring every out-of-town visitor there. That's free marketing the Strip can't buy with any advertising budget. The employment dynamics are completely different too. Fremont employees can actually afford to live within driving distance of work. Strip employees? They're commuting from Henderson or North Las Vegas because downtown real estate got too expensive. When your workforce is financially stressed and exhausted from commutes, service quality drops. When service drops, customer satisfaction tanks. When satisfaction tanks, revenues crater. It's a death spiral the Strip created for itself. There's also this weird economic multiplier effect happening. Money spent on Fremont tends to stay in the local economy longer. Independent bars, local restaurants, and smaller casinos recirculate cash through the community. Strip revenues? They go straight to corporate headquarters in other states or to service debt held by Wall Street banks. Every dollar spent on Fremont has maybe 3 times the local economic impact of a Strip dollar. The real estate implications are insane too. Property values around Fremont have been steadily climbing as the area gentrifies. But it's organic gentrification driven by actual demand, not artificial luxury development. Young professionals are moving downtown because it's cool and affordable. The Strip corridor? It's all corporate-owned or priced so high that only international investors can play. That's not a neighborhood. It's a portfolio asset. The entertainment economics revolution. The Strip spent $2.3 billion on the Sphere, thinking spectacle would save them. Meanwhile, Fremont throws up a $50,000 stage and gets better crowd engagement with cover bands. This isn't about being cheap. It's about understanding entertainment ROI at a fundamental level. Let me break down the math nobody wants to admit. The Sphere needs to charge $150 plus per ticket just to cover operational costs. That's before any profit. Fremont books a decent band for $5,000, charges no cover, and makes it back on 2 hours of increased drink sales. Which model sounds sustainable when middle-class entertainment budgets are shrinking? The variety factor is huge, too. On any given night, Fremont has maybe 10 different live acts performing. Different genres, different venues, different vibes. The Strip has residencies that cost millions and appeal to narrow demographics. If you don't like U2 or Adele, tough luck. Fremont gives you options, and options keep people exploring and spending. There's also this psychological phenomenon called perceived value versus actual cost. When people see free entertainment, their brains code it as massive value, even if they spend more on drinks than they would have on tickets. It's the same reason Amazon Prime feels free, even though you pay annually. Fremont hacked this psychology perfectly. The Strip, charging for everything separately, triggers loss aversion with every transaction. The street performer ecosystem is economically fascinating. These aren't just random buskers. They're small businesses providing entertainment that costs Fremont casinos nothing. But they create atmosphere that keeps people in the area longer. Every extra hour someone stays downtown is another $50 to $100 in spending. The Strip killed their street culture with regulations and corporate control. They saved pennies and lost millions. Here's what really matters: entertainment velocity. How quickly can you cycle through different experiences? On Fremont, you can watch 3 bands, see 2 street shows, and hit 5 casinos in one night. The Strip? You're locked into 1 show, 1 restaurant reservation, maybe 2 casinos if you're ambitious. Velocity equals variety equals extended engagement equals higher total spending. Fremont wins on pure economic physics. The demographic tsunami nobody saw coming. The Strip bet everything on international high rollers and young influencers with trust funds. They literally built their entire economic model around maybe 5% of the potential tourist base. Fremont looked at the other 95% and said, "Come on down." Guess who's winning? Here's the demographic reality that's crushing the Strip. Middle-class Americans aged 35 to 65 are still the biggest spenders in Vegas tourism. Not per person, but in aggregate. There are simply more of them, they travel more frequently, and they have established spending patterns. The Strip priced them out. Fremont welcomed them home. Gen Z and younger millennials are choosing Fremont too, but for different reasons. They want authentic experiences, not manufactured luxury. They want stories, not selfies in front of expensive fountains. Fremont gives them weird, wild, and genuine. The Strip gives them corporate-approved, focus-grouped, sanitized experiences. One creates memories. The other creates Instagram posts that nobody remembers. The retirement wave is the hidden economic bomb. Every day, 10,000 Americans turn 65. These people have time, money, and nostalgia for old Vegas. The Strip treats them like they're invisible because they're not dropping $1,000 on nightclub tables. Fremont treats them like valued customers. Want to guess where they're spending their retirement travel budgets? International tourism patterns are shifting too. Chinese high rollers aren't coming back at pre-2020 levels. Middle Eastern wealth is building their own Vegas in Dubai and Saudi Arabia. European tourists are dealing with currency weakness. The Strip's international strategy is collapsing. Fremont never depended on it, so they're not feeling the pain. There's also this fascinating economic segment called experience maximizers. People who want to do everything but spend carefully. These aren't cheap tourists, they're strategic spenders. They'll drop $500 in a night, but they want it spread across food, drinks, entertainment, and gambling, not blown on one overpriced dinner. Fremont is built for these people. The Strip treats them like second-class citizens. The competition paradox that changed everything. The Strip is essentially an oligopoly. A few massive corporations controlling everything and coordinating prices like a legal cartel. MGM and Caesars own most of it. They don't really compete, they collude through market pricing. That's why resort fees all went up together, parking fees appeared simultaneously, and drink prices march in lockstep. Fremont is the opposite. It's economic chaos in the best way possible. Different owners with different strategies fighting for every customer. The D competes with Golden Gate. Circa competes with Golden Nugget. Four Queens competes with Binion's. Real competition means real value for customers. It's capitalism actually working instead of corporate socialism pretending to be a free market. This fragmentation creates innovation pressure. When one Fremont property tries something new and it works, others have to respond or lose business. That's why you see constant improvements, new promotions, and actual creativity. The Strip? They just copy each other's fee structures and call it industry standards. The barrier to entry matters too. If someone wanted to compete with Bellagio, they'd need $2 billion minimum. Want to compete with Fremont casinos? $50 million gets you in the game. Lower barriers mean more players, more competition, more innovation, and better value. It's Economics 101, but the Strip forgot that chapter. Small owners also make decisions faster. The owner of a Fremont casino can change pricing, add entertainment, or modify operations in days. Strip properties need corporate approval from committees in other states who've never even walked the floor. Speed matters in hospitality. By the time the Strip reacts to market changes, Fremont's already adapted 3 times. Competition also creates specialization. Each Fremont property is developing its own identity and niche. Circa targets sports bettors. Golden Nugget focuses on poker. The D goes after party crowds. The Strip? Every property tries to be everything to everyone and ends up being nothing to nobody. Specialization creates loyalty. Generalization creates apathy. The hidden infrastructure advantage. Nobody talks about this, but Fremont's compact infrastructure is an economic superpower that the Strip can't replicate without spending billions they don't have. The entire Fremont experience requires less maintenance, security, and operational cost than one Strip property. Think about the economics of distance. The Strip runs for 4.2 miles. Maintaining that much real estate, providing security, running shuttles, keeping it clean, it's a money pit. Fremont's 5 blocks can be managed with a fraction of those resources. Every dollar saved on infrastructure is a dollar that can go toward customer value. The utility economics are insane. Air conditioning. The Strip's massive properties in Vegas heat costs millions monthly. Fremont's older, smaller buildings? Fraction of the cost. Water usage, electricity, maintenance, everything scales badly for the Strip and beautifully for Fremont. In a desert where resources cost premium prices, efficiency equals profit. Parking economics tell the whole story. The Strip built massive parking garages that cost millions to maintain and still charges for them. Fremont has simple structures that work fine, and many still offer free parking. When your infrastructure costs less, you can afford to give customers breaks. When it costs more, you have to nickel and dime everyone. The delivery and supply chain advantages are real too. Suppliers can service all of Fremont in one trip. The Strip requires multiple stops across miles. Those logistics costs get passed to customers through higher prices. It's invisible to tourists, but it impacts every purchase they make. Even emergency services work better. A medical emergency on Fremont gets immediate response. The Strip's scale creates response time issues that require more on-site services, more cost, more complexity. Simplicity isn't just efficient, it's profitable. The technology infrastructure gap is growing too. The Strip invested billions in facial recognition, AI, customer tracking, and complex loyalty systems that mostly just creep people out. Fremont casinos use basic systems that work. They don't need to track your every move when you're already happy. That's millions in tech spending that Fremont avoids and passes on as savings. Weather protection matters more than people realize. The Fremont Experience Canopy provides shade and weather protection that keeps people comfortable and spending. The Strip? You're baking in 115-degree heat walking between properties. Comfort equals time spent. Time spent equals money spent. Fremont engineered comfort into their infrastructure decades ago. The cultural economy Vegas forgot about. Here's what Wall Street analysts miss when they evaluate Vegas properties. Culture has economic value, and Fremont's got it, while the Strip sold theirs to the highest bidder. You can't spreadsheet authenticity, but you sure as hell can monetize it. The art and music scene downtown isn't just hipster decoration. It's economic development that costs nothing and returns everything. Local artists painting murals, musicians playing original songs, weird little galleries and vintage shops. They create what economists call cultural capital. The Strip killed their cultural economy and replaced it with corporate art nobody cares about. Food economics shows the difference perfectly. Fremont's got taco stands, pizza joints, and weird little bars serving cheap, good food. The Strip? $300 tasting menus and $18 hot dogs. But here's the thing. Those cheap Fremont foods create repeat customers. That expensive Strip meal? One and done. The lifetime value isn't even close. The social media economics are backwards from what Strip executives think. They spent millions creating Instagrammable moments that all look the same. Fremont's weird, authentic chaos generates more organic social content because it's actually interesting. Free marketing beats paid marketing every single time. There's also this trust economy thing happening. When prices are transparent and fair, customers trust the business. When everything feels like a scam, they get defensive and spend less. Fremont builds trust. The Strip destroys it. Trust translates directly to wallet share. The nostalgia economy is pure gold that Fremont mines perfectly. Every boomer who remembers old Vegas, every Gen Xer who came here in the 90s, every millennial who visited before the corporate takeover, they all find pieces of their memories on Fremont. The Strip erased its history for shareholder value. Fremont kept its soul, and it's literally paying dividends. Fremont Street didn't just survive Vegas's luxury transformation, it's proving the entire model was wrong. While the Strip drowns in debt, serving fewer tourists, Fremont's creating a sustainable economy built on volume, value, and actual fun. The forgotten child became the favorite by remembering what Vegas was supposed to be. What's your take? Is the Strip finished, or can they learn from Fremont's playbook? Drop a comment below and subscribe for more real Vegas economics.